Hi everybody, welcome to Walker's Guide and welcome to day 7 of 30 Days of Wild. And today is another lovely rainy day here in Essex. I'm wearing the waterproof jacket and I'm at Stock. I'm actually at one of the little churches at Stock to look at a tree. In fact, a lot of trees. The idea today was to go and look at some really cool little animals, but they didn't want to come out in the rain. So instead, we're going to look at a tree. And this tree, it's quite an interesting one. Its name is the same as a citrus, or at least its name in the UK is the same as a citrus. But in other places it's not. And I'm talking about the rather lovely lime tree. Look at this beautiful big lime. And how do we know it's a lime? Well, we're going to start with its trunk. This is a fairly nice old example. Big, chunky trunk. The bark has relatively deep fissures, but it's not dark brown. It's also quite, you can't see it on the video, but it's quite light. If I hit it, I don't know if you can hear that, it almost sounds slightly soft, which isn't that unusual. The next thing we have to do is look at that leaf. It's furry on both sides. I don't know if you can see that. Which will make it a large leaf lime. If it only had leaves furs on the bottom of the leaf and they were white, then that would make it a Tilia cross-Europea. If it had brownish hairs on the bottom of the leaf, that's Tilia cordata, the small leaf lime. Also, small leaf lime because its leaves are smaller. So, how am I identifying these as limes? Because the leaf is a lime leaf, but there's another method, and I think it's a bit cooler. And we're going to look at the flowers. Now, the flowers and obviously the seeds that come later are actually quite cool. This is the flower head. We've got one semi-opened, one completely closed, but here we have an open flower. Now these flowers are hermaphrodite. You've got both the male and the female part on the flower. And the seed itself will also form on these little stems. And these almost leaf-like structures are there in part, so when the seed falls it doesn't drop straight down, but instead will carry the seed further away, so you don't end up with lime upon line upon line upon line. Now limes also grow from suckers. We've got adult lime here, but then young will pop up in the grass underneath them. On these leaves we've got this rather interesting little growth, and that is a lime nail gall. It's caused by a tiny little mite that underwinters in the bark of the tree and then crawls through and feeds on the leaf, which causes these little galls to appear, which is quite interesting, quite cool actually, that they've got their own little vertebrates that live on them. So when I talk about trees, I always like to think about what they were used for, because every tree has a use at some point in its life, and some point of its contact with humans, and there is a reason that we use it, because, well, that's just humans' view. And lime, especially the small leaf lime, but large leaf and the European lime, was used for lots of things. For one, it's quite a soft wood. In America, it's known as basswood. So if you ever hear someone talk about basswood carving, it's lime, it's a Tilia. It's used for furniture making, and the bark was used for making ropes. And underneath the bark, there's like another layer that can be taken and sort of plaited to make a rope. The honeybees love the flowers. But also interestingly, the wood doesn't warp It stays, once it's been cut, it stays straight. So it's been used for things like sounding boards, and used for piano keys. Limes have been coppiced. In fact, I'm going to put a bit of video from video number 3 or 2, silver birch. I actually found a really cool stall of Tilia that had been coppiced, and it's been used for all sorts. If you ever see Morris dancers, their sticks traditionally are made from lime. And there it is, multi-stemmed, big one at the back, the younger ones at the front. You can see that bark difference. But right now it's raining, it's getting a bit chilly, and I want to go and get dry. So that was day 7 of the Walker's Guide. That's a week done. Just another 23 to go. 23 days, not 23 weeks. But that's the lime. Tilia. And that's me for today. So I'll see you tomorrow for day 8, which just so happens to be International Ocean Day. So I'm thinking about going to the supermarket and getting some cake and having a bit of cake by the ocean. That's in a reference for a very old song. But that's me for today. So I'll see you later. Bye. But there it is, as a coppice.